Yo, EBTV Sports back with another video. Back like we never left, man. New podcast. Really liking doing these, man. But love one, I hate one. You should be familiar with them by now. Kell Brook versus Terrance Crawford is gonna be an interesting fight. Who do you have winning this?
Man, you know what, man? When it comes down to this fight, I do feel like I feel like Terrance Crawford got every reason, in my opinion, to be the favorite in this fight. I look at it like a 60-40 type of fight, but with Kell Brook, it being a big 40. I feel like Kell Brook is like a very big live underdog in this fight. A lot of people want to compare this fight to how Kell Brook's been looking as of lately, because Kell Brook hasn't been looking good against a lot of these fighters he's been facing. But I also feel like Kell Brook, he even said this in the interview himself. Excuse the traffic, but Kell Brook said he don't rise to the competition like that against, lower level opposition. Like, against the guys like Zafara. And, lower competition like that don't get Kell Brook up for these fights. And I do feel Kell Brook needs to say that. So I feel like, in my opinion, man, Kell Brook gonna show up. And it's hard for me to pick Kell Brook because I feel like Kell Brook, on the other hand, he do have that, I don't want to say quit, even though it's hard for me not to say quit, because he did kind of quit against Errol Spence. Let's just call it is what it is. But I just feel, in my opinion, that Kell wants another world title. Like, competition-wise, when it comes down to Terrance Crawford, I think Kell Brook is the best he's faced thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And Kell Brook is arguably bigger than Terrance Crawford. If not bigger than Terrance Crawford, they're for sure the same size. So, in my opinion, when it comes down to that, I just feel like I'm riding with Kell, man. Kell Brook said he's like Sugar Ray Leonard, man. He gets up for the big fights. And if you really think about Kell Brook, like when he fought guys like, Errol Spence, when he fought guys like Triple G, he didn't just get dominated. He got stopped, but it's not like he just got, whitewashed, didn't run around type shit. He showed up in both fights, still lost, but he showed up in both fights. So I just feel like, man, I just see Kell Brook showing up for this fight, man. I see him showing up. He really wants a world title at 147 again, and I just see that, man. That's my thoughts on it.
And that's. I mean, I can see what you're saying about that. I have Terrance Crawford winning this fight, man. And the reason why is because Errol Spence was tearing him up, man. He was counter punching him. Errol Spence is fast. He was hitting him a lot with a lot of fast punches, man. And he didn't seem to be handling, he didn't seem to be handling it well with Errol Spence. Terrance Crawford is a nice, slick, powerful, fast puncher, man. And I think he's gonna pick Kell Brook apart the entire night. Now I do think Kell Brook, he will do some good things. Kell Brook is a nice, strong fighter and everything like that. He'll land some shots on the inside. But you ever notice, you go back to that Errol Spence fight, Kell Brook is not really good. And I'm just judging off the last fight, man. Like, it's a saying in boxing, you only as good as your last one. And the point.
That's something I can't argue with.
Yeah, exactly. And the point you made, and that's true. But my point is, I don't think that whole, he says he's trying to, do good for this fight, whatever. He's getting up for, a Terrance Crawford fight. I'll wait to see that. I'll wait to see that. But like I said, you're only as good as your last one, right? So,
Yeah. But I gotta say this though. Hold on. But keep going, cause ambulance going by. So keep going.
Yeah. You only as good as your last one, man. And so, raw and uncut. You know what I'm saying? Well, you only as good as your last one. And
Yeah,
you know,
but I mean, EBT, man.
but Errol Spence was landing that wheel. He was landing that wheel, and Errol Spence is a really fast puncher. And if you can't handle Errol Spence hitting you, you can't handle the punches of Errol Spence. You getting hit at will by Errol Spence. His punch is too fast for you. And Terrance Crawford, who's a
see, that's the thing though. I feel like that's the way to beat Kell Brook is throwing punches at will to just brawling with you, putting pressure on you. In my opinion.
Well, but I think Kell Brook, I don't think he'll do well with a guy who bounces around the ring like Terrance Crawford. I think Terrance Crawford is gonna bounce around the ring and just, just land punches at will. Kell Brook is the type of fighter where he he's kind of like a he's, I don't know how to explain it. He's kind of like the guy where you'll hit him for a while, but he comes back even stronger. So he's like that type of aggressive fighter. But I'm saying you only as good as your last one. And Errol Spence was landing at will, and he was landing all kind of shots on him, man. And I think Terrance Crawford, and I'm gonna make this last point. Errol Spence, he's not like Terrance Crawford in regards to he doesn't move around like Terrance Crawford. Errol Spence is kind of stationary where he'll walk forward and everything, but Terrance Crawford, he's moving around the ring, man. So I think Terrance Crawford lands at will, and I think he beats Kell Brook. And you only as good as your last one, man. And Errol Spence was just landing at will. He dropped him, and if Terrance Crawford gets to just unloading on Kell Brook, I think it's going to be a repeat of Errol Spence.
But this is the thing, though, EBT. People always want to say you but how many times have we seen a fighter, look good, look bad in last fight, and then look good in their next fight? When Tyson Fury fought Otto Wallen, he didn't look good, right?
Well, that was Otto Wallen. He wasn't really taking that fight seriously, though. You got to be honest. He was just playing around in that fight.
Okay. So why can't Kell Brook get that? Benefit of the doubt.
Right,
the last guy he fought was Steph Harvey. Kell Brook didn't take that fight serious like that. So why can't Tyson Fury get that benefit of the doubt, but Kell Brook can't?
Well, I mean, in Tyson Fury, it's not like he was getting beat down by Otto Wallen. He just had one little cut, but I think he was doing pretty well against Otto Wallen.
Tyson Fury didn't look good. He didn't look good though. What you mean though? Kell Brook won 80 rounds against Safari, and they still say he didn't look good though.
Listen, man. I think,
I'm not saying I got Kell Brook winning. I'm just saying he needs more bigger of a shot, man. Well, I think he needs a bigger shot than advertised.
Look, I'm saying against guys of Terrance Crawford caliber, how did you do? And we know he was getting clocked by Errol Spence. That's a guy of Terrance Crawford's caliber. And
yeah, but they two different styles though.
I'm saying caliber, skill though. He was getting hit by jabs by Michael Zafari. And who was that? And I no disrespect to him, bro, but he's not nearly the class of Terrance Crawford.
So Zafari is nobody. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Kell Brook. You want to say Errol Spence? Errol Spence has the styles to beat Kell Brook. No cap. Pressure fighters. The guys that you just said, the guys that throw at will, are the guys that give Kell Brook problems. I can go as far as even Carson Jones, another fighter that faced Kell Brook that gave him fight. The pressure fighters, especially if you can punch, you give Kell Brook trouble. Now, Terrance Crawford come in with that type of style against Kell Brook, that's not his regular style, though. But if he comes in with that type of style, I do feel like he can give Kell Brook lots of problems. But I have never seen Kell Brook just get outboxed, yo.
Well,
I mean, if you want to say Errol Spence, if you want to say Errol Spence, before the knockdowns, you could argue that Kell Brook was up.
Man, but look, you have to say, man, even you can't really use he would look good against. You can't really use the Zerafa fight to even justify a Terrance Crawford fight. Justify he's gonna do well against Terrance Crawford because he was even getting hit in that fight. So he was getting hit with some good shots in that fight, and a guy like Terrance Crawford, arguably top 5 pound for pound, really. I think Terrance Crawford is just gonna jab him. He's gonna stay on the outside and just punch on the outside. I don't think it's the difference between Errol Spence and Errol Spence is kind of he'll slug it out with you at times, but Terrance Crawford is not going to be the type of dude who just trades with you. Terrance Crawford, he's going to unload, but he's going to keep his distance at the same time. And we know even Kell Brook's footwork, his footwork is questionable. It's not trash, but it is questionable. He's kind of like flat-footed a little bit. He doesn't move on his toes like that.
No, I disagree with Kell Brook. I disagree with Kell Brook being flat-footed. Hell, no. I'm not gonna say he has the best movement, but flat-footed? Oh hell no, he ain't flat-footed, bro.
Look, he's not. He doesn't dance around the ring. He's not gonna be able to keep up.
He don't dance, but I think Terrance Crawford got the better foot speed here.
And
do not sleep on Kell Brook's foot speed.
Well, and Terrance Crawford is going to counterpunch him to death too. You have to realize he was getting counterpunched by Zerafa. He was getting counterpunched by Errol Spence. So I think he's going to counterpunch him to death. And his defense is not the greatest. He gets hit by all kind of caliber fighters.
Errol Spence wasn't really countering. You even said it. Errol Spence was landing at will. When you're landing at will, that's not really counterpunching. Errol Spence was just throwing punches and he was catching Kell, especially after that six.
Well, and don't get me wrong, Crawford will do that too. And you have a guy like Crawford he has more power than Zerafa. Zerafa was landing good shots against Kell Brook. And if you don't look good against a guy like but what makes you think he's gonna if you don't dominate a guy like Zerafa, what makes you think you're gonna be able to really seriously compete with a guy like Terrance Crawford? Even Zerafa was landing.
Listen, DDT, you can't really say that, bro. I understand what you're saying. You only as good as your last fight. Trust me, I understand what you mean. But I've sit here and watched Sugar Ray Leonard look like trash. I forgot who he faced before Marvin Hagler. He looked like pure trash, and he came in there and beat Marvin Hagler. You know why? Because it was way more at stake. When you fight a guy like Zerafa, you just don't. It's like, okay, this is gonna be an easy win. You kind of underestimate him a little bit. I promise you. Even if Kell Brook loses, he's not gonna look the same like he did against Zerafa. So my point is, Sugar Ray Leonard did it. Sugar Ray, like I said, you go watch the fight before Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard did not look good, yo. A lot of people were saying, in fact, that was the reason why Sugar Ray Leonard was a big underdog. He took 3 years off. He didn't look good in his last fight before Marvin Hagler, and he came in and he beat Marvin Hagler. So you just can't say that is true with every fight, though.
That is a very strong indicator, and we don't know that's going to be the case with Terrance Crawford because you're jumping straight to the fight. I'm just saying, past 2 fights, how has he looked? And the fact is, he's been a target for punches from all kind of caliber fighters. He was getting hit at will against Errol Spence. Errol Spence was a big fight. He was getting hit at will with Zerafa. Zerafa really wasn't a big fight. Well, not at will. I wouldn't say at will, but he was getting hit pretty. I mean, a lot for a guy of that caliber. For if you're fighting Zerafa, you think you're gonna compete with Crawford. And like I said, Errol Spence landing at will, and it was easy for him to hit Errol Spence a little bit because Errol Spence was just coming in there. But when you have a guy like Terrance Crawford who's jumping around the ring, he's very slick. He has fast hands, and he's not the type who's gonna brawl with you until he knows he has you defeated a little bit. It's gonna be real difficult because he's not the fastest of guys. He doesn't have the best of defense. Terrance Crawford will win this fight, I think, by decision. But Terrance Crawford's he's gonna beat Kell Brook, man.
Oh no, see, this is my thing. I'm not even saying Terrance Crawford gonna lose the fight. I just said he needs a bigger chance. He's a former welterweight champion. I mean, I don't want to go on it too long because then it's gonna make it seem like I'm picking Kell Brook. I got Terrance Crawford. I got Terrance Crawford winning the fight, but I just feel like Kell Brook needs a bigger shot, man. This is not just no walk in the park with Terrance Crawford.
No, it's not a walk in the park. But I mean,
that's my thing.
You can't blame people because you look at the past 2 fights, he's been getting hit at will, and I don't think how that's gonna lead him to competing with Crawford. But you definitely make some good points there. So yeah, I'm not trying to say it's gonna be a walk in the park for Terrance Crawford, but I really do have him winning though.
No, I mean I understand you and the rest of the world got him winning.
Yeah.
I mean, I got him winning too, but just by a landslide, I can't see no landslide.
Yeah, that's true.
But EBT though, yeah, I gotta go real quick, man.
Yeah, all right, EBT Sports signing off, man. Definitely uploading these videos. Now, yes, stay tuned for more.